Our first stop of the day finds us at the tree, which we'll take a picture of in a minute. These are the Sherman Mountains, erosional remnants rising above the floor of the land here. We're on Interstate 80. We're in Albany County, Wyoming. We were here year before last, but I had screwed up the old camera. I didn't have a good charge and I couldn't take videotape of the tree. So we pulled over here to take some stills and some film of the tree and the mountains. Here is Tree Rock. When the Union Pacific was built through here in 1867, they detoured the tracks a touch to come by this tree growing out of the rock, ergo Tree Rock. Then when the railroad built, when they rerouted the train, this old grade became a wagon road and eventually Interstate 80. It's US 30 also, which is part of the famous Lincoln Highway, which is Interstate 30, US 30, US 40, US 48, and US 50. In fact, Dublin Canyon Road is part of the Lincoln Highway, of which if you watched any of my films, I've showed you this very L painted on the bridge. This L used to be the sign of the Lincoln Highway when there were not numerical highway numbers, which came about in 1926, when the U.S. highways took effect. So here's our 360th Tree Rock. This is a historical spot. I'm glad I got my camera charged, unlike the last time, year before last, when I was an idiot. So here you have it, we're pressing on. It's a nice day in the middle of Wyoming on June the 1st. And here you have it. Just a couple miles west of Tree Rock is the highest point in elevation of Interstate 80, which is at the Lincoln Monument. We'll get all that information shortly. I think we're about 8,600 feet in high. This elevation kills me. This is the monument to the Henry B. Joy, was the first president of the Lincoln Highway Association and the president of Packard Motor Cars in the 1910s. And he helped to foresee the idea of a coast-to-coast highway. And in 1916, the feds started to match state funds in building roads. Here's a bust of President Lincoln. And this is what the monument looks like. This has been moved here from the old US 30 summit. Look at the clouds in the background. Isn't it a beautiful day? It's great to not work, isn't it, boss?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I can't imagine never going back to work.
You know you want to.
Oh, secretly in my heart, yeah. This is all just a fool's life. Work will set you free.
Love you, Mr. Groove.
Now we're looking at the sign here, or the plaque, and it talks about the Lincoln Highway traversing from Times Square to the Golden Gate Bridge, but we know that's not true, because the Golden Gate Bridge wasn't finished until 1936, and the Lincoln Highway was here decades earlier. The Lincoln Highway actually ends in Golden Gate Park in front of the, well, I just saw this on Google Maps. I think it's the Palace of Fine Arts, but there's a plaque there at the fountain across the street from the palace that is the actual beginning of the Lincoln Highway, or the end, depending on what you're looking at. Here's our view from inside the rest area. As we can see, the summit used to be 88.35, and now along I-80 it's only 86.40. It is the highest spot in elevation on Interstate 80. Donner Pass is only 7,200 feet or so. Here's our side view of the Lincoln Head. The gal inside said that they are taking the head down in July for maintenance and refurbishing. So I'm glad that we're here in June. I also told them that the sign was wrong, and I explained it to them. And they took some notes, but it's not like you're going to change the sign, but they really ought to, because the sign is wrong, and it bothers me. So here's looking to the north from the summit and the rest stop here. It's really nice inside. The people are nice. This is a sharp stop. You should stop here if you're ever out this way. I feel real crappy today. I think it's the elevation and my allergies are killing me. It's going to be a struggle to get the rock springs, but I took a couple of Norco and a nausea pill, so I think we're going to be okay. Here's some scenery to look at. You still see some snow on the ground. In fact, it looked like from earlier in the day, it looked like there was fresh snow on some of the tops of these mountains. And here's what's little of Arlington, Wyoming there is. This is such a pretty state, we need to come back. Hey, there's bears right there. I'll be damned. I bet this used to be a campground too. You could tell by that A-frame building. Anyway, we're pressing on. Our camping spot for the next 3 days here on June the 1st of 2015 finds us in Rock Springs, Wyoming, at the Sweetwater Event Center. Now, all this brown fencing separates the two campsites. So there's two campsites in between each of the pieces of fence, and then perpendicular to that is, and I don't know why that they did this, but I'll show you in a second. But they put all the hookups in the back, which is great for fifth wheels, but not for me. So we're not going to hook up our sewer, and I had to use the extension. There's my baby boy. I had to use the extension on the water hose, a second water hose, which is why you always have at least two water hoses. And then I talked about the 30 amps. You see the pigtail. Now it has a 50 amp male and a 30 amp female. And then at the end of my cords with the extension cord is a 30 amp male. So we're able to tap into the power off the 50 amp plug with the 50 to 30 amp converter. Now the only other time I've seen this, well, I use this is in Carson City when the 30 amp plug wasn't working right and they had power problems, so they just had us use the 50 amp plug and it worked out fine. You can see I got the extra hose right there. Inside that little black pedestal are 20 amp regular 3-prong plugs. The wind's starting to pick up. Look at the clouds. Hope you can hear me. We're gonna stay here for a couple days. We made it here. It was a long, arduous trip for us both, but we're here. And there you have it.